I'm Tim, welcome to What You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Parmigiani Toric Chronograph, 40mm in 18-karat yellow gold. You can buy this Toric Chronograph by Parmigiani on our website, whatyouwant.com, where you can see it in high-resolution images. And if you like these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, What You Want Inc. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. This watch is a perfect fit. I will say, though, ergonomically, an awesome fit. Aesthetically, it punches above its weight. It looks a lot bigger than 40mm. Now, I was just wearing a 42mm Patek Philippe Nautilus Jumbo, and it didn't strike me as being quite as large as this 40mm Parmigiani. And a big reason for that is the gorgeous lugs. Now, they have tremendous span to them, but the span thrusts out and then it thrusts down. And you can get a good sense of that from this angle here, where you see it has a pronounced teardrop droop towards the edge where it joins the strap. And that teardrop sort of underslung portion allows the lugs to read with real presence and mass without becoming unwieldy in their size and span from edge to edge. Now, the actual lug to lug measurement that you're looking at here is a surprisingly modest 47mm, and although the case appears massive because of the coining and the double steps, it's actually only 12.5mm thick, so we're very much in the territory of a standard men's dress watch. What I will mention is because the case does have that dramatic, almost pagoda-like stepped pattern to its flanks, it's easy for a dress cuff to ride up and over first the curved flank of the case, then each one of those individual curved steps. So this is a great dress option if you want a watch that can wear well with all but the very tightest of dress cuffs. Now, Parmigiani is known for a couple of impressive distinctions, one of which is its unique partnership with Hermès to manufacture its leather straps. And sure enough, that's what we've got here. Now, the watch has a gorgeous, minimally bolstered, rectangular brown alligator leather strap. The individual stitches, all laid by hand, have gorgeous, pronounced sort of wrap and slight outward flare to them. They are not discrete stitches, but they're very much an aesthetic part of the strap itself, meant to be seen and appreciated, and I want to call attention to that because it's a rare feature. Now, underneath you can see this gorgeous saddle-colored calfskin leather in the Hermès tradition. Beautiful, and it feels like butter. Now, a gorgeous double deployant 18-karat yellow gold clasp, and I want to emphasize, joins the watch with the discretion and low profile of a pin buckle. So what you see here is a buckle that's part of a deployant, and yet once the watch is on the wrist, reads with the low profile and classical style signature of a pin buckle. The best of both worlds. Security, so that it's not going to fall off your wrist when you're putting it on or taking it off if you do slip. Also, the quality of a beautifully finished 18-karat yellow gold clasp that adds real value. The ease of the double swing arm, which makes it easy to close and fit on a smaller wrist. Crisp snaps when it closes, outstanding manufacturing tolerances, and again, it looks like an elegant pin buckle from the outside. Plus, look at that texturing and coining inside the outer bounds of the buckle itself. Beautifully styled. You can see just as much attention went into the case itself. Very individualist here. I've seen multiply stepped bezels before, and I've seen gorgeous teardrop lugs, rounded case flanks. I've never seen a case back that mirrors the almost honeycomb style steps of a bezel like this. Seeing the bezel form recapitulated on the case back is unusual, but it's a real pleasure because it's so original and in this case so well executed. It gives the watch that presence that really believes its size. When I talk about the watch looking bigger than 40 on my wrist, I'm talking about the sum of all these individual styling features that make this watch read bigger than it is, but also look like nothing else. Inboard, the dial is a feast of traditional finishing motifs. You can see the gorgeous blued hands at center, with fantastic contrast when set against the silvered, multiply textured dial base. Now, the dial's a little bit reminiscent of a Breguet, but what I see here is better legibility geared towards sporting applications. Each one of the individual numerals isn't so much stylized as set apart from the others. Very distinct. There's also a small Arabic numeral outboard of each one to ease reading the minutes, reading the chronograph seconds, and I'll fire that up for your viewing pleasure. unconventional placement of the date for an El Primero-based caliber between 1 and 2 o'clock, nevertheless it works and it unloads the bottom portion of the dial, which is otherwise monopolized by the sub-registers themselves. An inboard of a sort of circular brushed, circular grained hour track, you see a beautiful cross-hatching, almost clou de Paris style guilloche on the center of the dial with a beautiful laterally brushed yellow gold Parmigiani marquee that really jumps from the silver background. Each one of the individual sub-registers has a texture to it and is inset into the dial to give it another plane, another level at which it can be read and break up the cool mass of silver metal. This is a special composition, and again, the small gold accents at the marquee at the date window, the blue accents, the separate levels and separate reflections, separate optical signatures of each different finish make this an interesting and differentiated dial in spite of the mass of silver. But it is the case back that probably deserves the single greatest shout out, and that is what you would expect from any watch featuring an El Primero based caliber. And that's a fact because this is a Zenith movement. The legendary Zenith El Primero thumping away at 5 hertz, or essentially 10 beats per second, 36,000 vibrations per hour. The first high-beat automatic winding integrated chronograph movement debuted in 1969. It's powered everything from grand complications to an entire generation of the legendary Rolex Daytona to a select group of high horology customer caliber watches such as Parmigiani. And I have to say that this Toric chronograph, part of a series that debuted in the early 2000s, roughly 2003, 2004, represents one of the last non-Zenith or non-LVMH umbrella brand watches to use that caliber, because now it's reserved entirely for those watches produced within Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, so the likes of Zenith, for instance, Tag Heuer, and Hublot. To have that caliber of movement with that quality of engineering and beauty of watchmaking in a watch as original and well executed as this Parmigiani is really a last-of-the-line pleasure. Historically, the El Primero has powered some great watches, but today you'll never see a combination like this again, not given the manufacturing partnerships that are practically possible in the current business environment. And what Parmigiani has done is fitted a gorgeous gold guilloche winding weight. Now, the El Primero is a beautifully decorated caliber as it emerges from Zenith, but the addition of this beautifully guilloche winding mass, unique to the Parmigiani model, adds a lot of value, both in terms of the gold that's employed, but also in terms of the artistry that's exhibited. You can see all the hallmarks of the Zenith manufacturer here. The kind of quirky use of perlage on bridges, the satin finish of the base plate. You can also see the beautiful radial brushing and circular brushing on the wheels. You can see the gorgeous polishing of the screws and the alternating blued screws that are used to make actual mechanical adjustments. Polished screws represent fixtures that hold things in place. Blued screws are used for making mechanical adjustments. Likewise, there's beautiful linear brushing on all of the functional levers of the chronograph drivetrain, and you can see that beautiful column wheel mechanism right below my thumb. Classical chronograph engineering, crisp to actuate, to stop, to start, and of course, to reset. It represents traditional watchmaking at its best. Efficient automatic winding with a 52-hour power reserve and peerless styling that looks like nothing else. This is a watch that has pedigree inside and out. Beautiful case, beautiful dial, and a movement that needs no introduction. You can see this Parmigiani Toric chronograph 40 millimeters in yellow gold, a real event on the wrist, on our website, watchyouwant.com.